That is crossing right into this sort of little triangular shaped road intersections here that we've got in the Corbin area. So we need to be down, we need to be safe. As we move over to this other storm, this other tornado warning that is exiting McCreary County right now and heading into Whitley County, this one has some very strong returns in the toward section here, but not so great in the away. So the circulation, again, not fantastic. It's riding right along here, places just to the east of Honeybee now, and this main roadway here that I'm trying to get a name on. Doesn't look like it's coming up, but it intersects with Cumberland Falls Highway there south of Youngs Creek. That's where likely the strongest of the rotation is with that storm. So let's go back here and put a tracker on this. Obviously, it's in Corbin right now. So folks that are in Corbin, downtown Corbin, North Corbin, we'll keep repeating it. I can even get a little closer here. From South Earls Avenue up to White Street, North Main Street to Master Street, all in this, South Depot Street. I mean, this is right in the heart of downtown where we have the greens and the reds coming together. Again, not any confirmation that there's the potential of a tornado here, but we have the rotation, we have the warning, and that warning goes until 7:45. So we've got 20 minutes to watch this here, moving to the east at 35 miles an hour. Let's grab this. Let's take these warning boxes off. Okay, again, the rotation is right here, and we are going to be moving that rotation to the east and put a tracker on it at roughly 35 miles an hour. So that's the direction that we're going in, and these are the places that it's going to head to. So places like Tuttle, Fletcher, McHargue, Gibbs, Tedders, Crane Nest, you're all going to be in the line of this potential rotation here, this potential tornado, as we roll into the next couple of minutes. I'm not getting any updates from the National Weather Service at this time of any reports or any confirmation of this, but it is a tornado warning in the area, so we're going to have to hold on to it, again, until something changes. Let me see if I can't pull up some of the rotation indicators on here and see if they are going to provide any kind of notification on what those storms look like. Okay, here's a little tracker for us to help us out, clicking this link. So typically what we see in something like this, Barron products here for us, our radar products, they calculate the spin. And with the spin on there, we have this BTI index. Typically when it's down to a 2.4, that there's not a lot of tight or strong rotation within it. Now there is rotation, no doubt, but there is not a lot of strong and tight rotation. Typically we need this number up to a 6, 7, or 8 before we start getting confirmations, before we start seeing damage results and such things like that. As we continue to monitor that storm there, it does look like that rotation in the latest form has actually sort of peeled back. But you look down there in southern parts of Whitley County and McCreary where that other tornado warning is, and the rotation does look like it is tightening up a bit. And as it continues to do that, we will want to monitor how that is going to go into eastern portions of Whitley County. So from Honeybee right now, this is a pretty strong return here. Again, this is toward, this is away and this is toward, so our rotation is going in this general direction here, and this is some strong returns in this section that we're seeing. So there could definitely be some very strong, at least straight line winds with that. The latest scan here does look like it's a bit scattered and broken up. We might get some interference with this as these storms continue through. A lot of information if you're just tuning in. We do have multiple warnings across the area. We are monitoring the potential for some tornadic activity as well as large hail, damaging winds, frequent lightning. We're going to run back through these here. Again, we've got active tornado warnings in the area, and so we are going to hold this as long as we can, as long as those tornado warnings are active. Overall, I'm not seeing anything that really screams that there's tornadoes on the ground at this point. It does just look like radar indicated rotation, and that's what the National Weather Service has confirmed with these systems as these storms continue to work in. It's scattered, it's messy pretty much everywhere here across the state, with most of the activity now east of Lexington, but we do have heavy rain through Madison and Garrett County, and the stronger storms are in our southern zones. Let's take a look at Futurecast to see how it might play things out for us here the rest of the way. I think I can pull that up through here, and future radar will kind of give us an idea of the next couple of hours as we roll through this. And this is now future radar. Let me pull off this You can see where those warnings are currently. As we put this into motion, we'll see that the general theme is that the entire line keeps working to the east over the next 3 hours, starts getting out of the viewing area by 8 or 9 p.m. Whether or not it looks like these storms, at least according to Futurecast here, future radar, are staying relatively strong. So this could carry on, at least with the severe thunderstorm warnings as the night goes on. But we are expecting the bulk of this activity to only be around for the next couple of hours, with most of central and northern parts of the state and even northeastern Kentucky settling down quite a bit here as this line of storms moves by. So we'll see that exit come in soon, but of course there's plenty to watch. Let's go back to radar. We'll put the warnings back on. We'll see what we've got. We'll get to the latest and greatest here on this. And we're just going to cycle through. We're going to go west to east, and we're going to talk about each storm and talk about who it's impacting here. Again, we've got 2 tornado warnings on the map, so we've got to hold on to it regardless. Right now, Somerset, heavy rainfall. The severe thunderstorm warning we've got here does include southern Pulaski County. It goes into Wayne County as well, just a small portion of McCreary, western McCreary County. This storm moving to the east roughly 35 miles an hour, bringing 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and 1-inch hail. The stronger storms that we need to keep an eye on for us are these, obviously the ones that have the tornado warnings back to the Corbin area right now, so we get a close look. Very messy in terms of radar overall. We've got a lot of overlapping boxes. The main point here is that we've got a couple strong cell cores that are rolling through, both producing some rotation within them, likely supercell activity, and they're giving us the opportunity for brief spin-ups in heavy rain. So the threat here is dangerous for us. We can't see it. Even if you were to try to look out the window, I don't advise that. You need to be down in your safe space. You're not going to be able to tell what's going on, and we've got tornado threats in the area. So with that, we're going to watch. These are, again, these storms moving to the east at 35 miles an hour. Let's take a look at the velocity reading and get an idea of what is going on with this. Latest scans here showing up. This is regular velocity. I don't see a lot of greens and reds meeting together. That's a good sign. That means that there's no tight rotation taking place. Odds of a tornado in this instance are low, but not zero. And we'll have to see what that next scan looks like before we get into it. Let's get back to these. That is the storm relative. So this is the regular. A lot of this looks like it's sort of congealing together, which is a good sign for us that there is not some very tight rotation in the mix. A real close zoom in on Corbin here. I don't see anything that would suggest that there is any kind of rotation or even tornadic activity going on there at this time. But again, we have that warning in place, so we're going to hold it just for another couple of minutes. Back to the storm relative. Nothing really there that meets the eye, that really captures it. I'm more really concerned about this here now that's further into portions of Whitley County. This looks like it could definitely have some strong rotation to it. This area right here, likely seeing from Youngs Creek, riding along this Cumberland Falls highway here, this from Youngs Creek towards Corbin, that looks like it has better rotation. That looks like it has tight rotation. Again, when green meets red, that's where we have the opportunity for a brief spin-up tornado. So if you're in Youngs Creek, you needed to be down in your safe space for a while now, because we had that warning pop up for you already. It's been in place, and it goes in place for another 15 minutes. This is moving to the east at roughly 35 miles an hour. It looks like it's going to stay south of Corbin, but it is headed towards 75 between Williamsburg and Corbin, and that will likely make its cross here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Moving at a quick pace. Barberville right now, you are inside of a strong thunderstorm. Heavy rainfall likely making its way to you at this time. We've got the chance for some hail coming your way. You are inside of this tornado warning. Right now, these boxes overlap. This tornado warned cell that is moving just south of Corbin is going to start entering into this other box that we had in portions of Knox County until 7:45. So we might see them add a box that covers in the middle of this again. Barberville, you need to be down in your safe space because this storm is headed your way. No confirmation on the tornadic activity, but you need to be down, you need to be ready. Corbin, it's not safe to get out yet. You need to stay down and stay in your spot. Moving a little further to the east here, another gnarly looking storm that's working its way into portions of Leslie County right now. This one has a little bit of a tail. So that's one we're going to want to watch for the potential of some rotation as well. That tail is not a good sign for us overall. Let's take a look and see. We've got some green and some red there, some indication of some rotation, and that is something that could prompt a tornado warning here if that tightens up at all. If they take a look at that here in the next couple of scans and it stays that way, I wouldn't be surprised if we get another tornado warning in that spot. So it is very active here. It looks like the severe thunderstorm warning itself that was rolling into portions of Knox County is dropped. It has been allowed to expire at 7:30, but we've got the tornado warning covering us from there. It does look like they have expanded the tornado or the severe thunderstorm warning that is further to the west of our 2 tornado warnings. It now buttons up right next to it, includes the rest of this. So this line right here is doing some work here for us. It's got the straight line winds of 60 miles an hour and the 1-inch hail. A lot going on with these cells that are rolling across southern Kentucky. And the main piece, though, and I think the really important storm here, is going to be the one that is producing the very tight little area of potential rotation. Let me just get right back in on that, because that one is going to be the one that has the best chance. Now, south of Youngs Creek, that rotation is from Clio to Walden to Faber, Rockholds, Woodbine, some of the smaller communities here that are south of Corbin. This is good, solid rotation, and it is heading your way. No confirmation of tornadic activity with it, but we've got the tornado warning in place, and it's moving at 35 miles an hour. I'll keep stepping off the screen here because we are going to continue to track. We're going to continue to track this threat here as we roll into the night, and I want to see if there's any details from the National Weather Service on their thinking here, and if there's any confirmations of this. This is in more rural parts, of course, of southern Kentucky, but it is heading towards some major communities as well, and they are inside these warning boxes. So I apologize if you want to catch the Big Bang Theory or whatever it is that we have on. This is going to take precedent over that here until these warnings, until these storms lighten up. So let's take one more gander. It does look like there's no new information with these. It does look like the rotation is remaining strong there in Whitley County, excuse me. The rotation in parts of Knox County does not look good, it looks loose, which is a good sign. It means that there's not some strong tornadic activity ongoing there. Here's another look at the live radar. I'm going to let this loop a couple of times so you can see how this progression has gone for us through the night, while I take a look at some of these other mechanics that we've got to see if there's any good rotation signatures popping up. Let's take a look at this here and see what that tornado piece looks like. I'm going to move over. I'm going to pause that. I'm going to move over to this. This is what we call the debris detector. And so what we see in something like this is we have particles in the atmosphere that it is watching. And that is detecting. And when we see a large drop in this, these colors that you see here, I'll come back on so you can see what I'm pointing at. These colors here that you see along this legend at the top of the screen, rain is these pink colors. Once we start getting drops in this down into the yellows and greens, that's when we start to suggest maybe there's some particles or some bigger objects in the atmosphere. And when we have that, that's when we start to say maybe that's hail. Well, if we get any further down the line into the blues here, that's when we start to suggest that there might be debris. This is a good, clean image for us. I don't see any strong little debris signatures showing up, meaning that confirmation of a tornado on the ground is pretty low at this point. You can see that where we had that strongest rotation near Youngs Creek, though, we do have some of those colors starting to change over. That lines up with where the rotation is. And again, the opportunity of any kind of tornadic activity with this, they're going to be quick. They're going to drop, they're going to come back up. They're going to drop, they're going to come back up. So that's what we are keeping an eye on. This is just another tool we can use to try to spot where that rotation, where that potential will be. Let's go back to radar. See how things are going. This storm, this cell holding on strong. It's a pretty good one here for us with some very strong cores. Now this could also just be some very good updraft rotation. Updraft rotation allows hail to form. So I'm going to step off again so I can show you what that hail signature looks like, because that is another threat that we are expecting with these storms across southern Kentucky through tonight. And let's get that pulled up so you can see what we're sort of looking at here. So the hail swath looks like this. So these are some good indicators. Again, at the legend at the top of the screen, we've got these pinks, that's where it says possible. Once it starts getting darker and darker across that legend, that's the radar reading that there are some stronger signatures of particles, heavier particles in the atmosphere. So some large hail likely with these tornado warned storms. That could be part of the rotating factor. As updrafts get in, they carry all that moisture, they carry those hailstones up. If they're rotating and help keep them longer, doesn't necessarily mean that rotation's getting down to the ground, but it does hold some larger hailstones until they can't hold it anymore and they fall out. So we've got that to deal with here as well. It does look like they've added another severe thunderstorm warning further to the east with all of this broken line of showers and storms we're dealing with here tonight. So we're going to check on that one and see how things are going here with that system. Taking a look way back over here near Hazard, we've got Perry County inside of a severe thunderstorm warning along with Leslie. It's an extension of the one that Leslie had that goes until 7:45. That is going to be for 60-mile-an-hour winds and 1-inch hail. And we're going to continue to battle that threat as we go into tonight as well. Again, mainly all of this isolated into southern Kentucky. That's where the warmth has been. That's where we'll continue to see the energy for it. Again, not as much energy as there is rotation, and that's why we also have these warnings coming through. So across the board, we've got everything moving to the east at roughly 35 miles an hour, and they're sort of set up in a line. And when they're set up in a line like that too, now we're talking about training rain. So flooding is going to be another concern for us as we roll into tonight. Taking a look at how much rain we've already seen. We're going to go back to those tornado warned storms in a second. Again, didn't see anything great in the rotation, so we don't need to keep beating that. But here's what rainfall we've had over the past 24 hours. 2+ inches across northern Kentucky, including central Kentucky, here in Lexington as well. Down south, we've had over 1 inch for many, almost 2 inches in Pulaski. Now we've got training thunderstorms in this area. So flash flooding is also going to start to become a concern. These rainmakers are strong. They're heavy. They're producing quite a bit, and they'll keep pushing that through as we go into tonight. Rainfall forecast models, they don't do a good job figuring this out. They say maybe another ½ inch to 1 inch plus, but with storms like this, 1.5 inches to 2 inches possible per hour. I know they're moving at a pretty good pace, but they're not moving at 60. They're moving at 35 to 40. So if they keep doing that over a couple of hours, we're going to see 2-3 inches pile up pretty quick, and that's going to add another layer of problems to us as we head into tonight. Again, the main threats for us here, originally for everybody, they're low. Damaging winds, tornadoes, hail. Southern Kentucky, though, getting all of this right now. The rest of us are pretty much out of it. If we go back to radar, and I'll show you, everything here in northern Kentucky, central Kentucky is just heavy rain and lightning. Now we've got another severe thunderstorm warning and another tornado warning that has just popped, so we're going to need to dive down into here. Now this is just on the edge of the Fox 56 viewing area, but we do reach some folks out there, so we need to check in on them too. This is going to be a tornado warning for Leslie County until 8:15 p.m. It leaks all the way over into Harlan County, which is just outside of our viewing area, but the tornado warned portion of this is that piece that had the tail on it. So let's get in on that. We'll take a peek here at what the radar looks like with our rotation and see what kind of issues might be coming up from that. So once again here, this is another case of loose, kind of mediocre rotation at best. We've got reds, which are going away, greens going towards. So we've got some rotation here. You see how broad that is? Not the best drawer, but still, we don't have anything we need something that's like this to start having big worries about tornado activity making it to the ground. But like I've said probably 4 or 5 times in the last 10 minutes alone, these are the ones that are going to spin up really quick, get down, pop back up, in between scans even. So if you are inside of that box, you need to be in your safe space. Once again, we've got tornado warnings, thunderstorm warnings, all producing rotation, all producing the potential for some of that. Let's get back over here, north of Barberville right now. That tornado-warned storm just near Emmanuel from Cannon to Girdler, everybody in that zone all the way down to Barberville, Providence, Dishman Springs, Emmanuel. We've got rotation that's really close to you right now, and it is potentially one of those spin-up instances. You can see it here again as we go away and towards. There's some there, but there's more here. So we've got 2 instances of some rotation probably fighting each other in somewhere in that vicinity. There's going to be some strong winds within that, regardless of if it holds together or not. We need to be down in our safe space here. Barberville, Boone Heights, to Bimble, even places like Swan Pond, Swan Lake, Artemis, Old Flat Lick and Flat Lick itself. You guys got to be down and be ready too, because you're inside of that tornado warning that continues until 7:45 p.m. for Knox County. That's one. Here's the other spot of rotation. Now across 75. It has made its way over 75. Again, the rotation looks relatively loose, but we're looking at places here like Walden, Rockholds, Woodbine. Again, some of these smaller communities in Faber, Wilton. This rotation is moving to the east towards you. So you need to be down and be ready. It's headed your way, even though it's going to be rain wrapped. It's going to be something you're never going to be able to see. There's lots of lightning. It's dangerous. You need to be inside. Let's take a look further back again with this storm as it comes through. We've got another one still working its way into McCreary County till 8 p.m. southern Pulaski County. Just south of Burnside there, we have south of Somerset. This system, this storm itself, is moving to the east at roughly 35 to 40 miles an hour. This is just wind. This is 60-mile-an-hour wind, so still damaging straight line potential. It's going to have the hail with it. It's going to have the heavy rainfall. Pop on the lightning so you can see a lot of energy into these storms. A lot of lightning means a lot of energy that's available, really a lot taking on. It's strong, it's robust, it's holding together well. We've got 3 tornado warnings. We've got 5 or 6 different severe thunderstorm warnings across southern Kentucky. It's a busy night for us here at the Fox 56 Weather Center as these storms come through. Right now, again, though, not seeing anything to indicate that there is any confirmation of tornadoes. So I'm going to check back in with our friends at the National Weather Service. They keep laying boxes over boxes here. And so with that, we're going to have to keep kind of deciphering who's doing what and where. So let me take a look at this and see if we've got any kind of confirmation on any kind of tornadic activity. Nothing's showing up yet. There is some large hail indicators. If you have some time once these storms pass, we'll talk about that when we get to it. A chance to see if there was any hail coming down. Right now, the best and most important thing is that you're in your safe space if you are in any of these boxes. Working through them again from right to left across your screen now. Thursday, 8 p.m., Perry County, Kentucky, inside a severe thunderstorm warning. Also for Leslie County, there is 4 or 5 different boxes here for you from that in Harlan County, and they just keep adding those boxes on top. It looks like we have here in Knox County that they're going to let that tornado warning expire at 7:45 here in 1 minute, and they have extended it into just this severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag, which means that they are confident that we don't have anything touching the ground, but there's the potential of some spinning taking place. And unless they have more of that, it looks the same there for Knox County, now updated until 8:15 p.m. It looks like they're going to let all of those tornado warnings in 1 minute expire in those 2 counties. Further to the east there in Harlan County and portions of Leslie County until 8:15 p.m. there is a tornado warning in place. And again, that is going to clean up our map quite a bit as some of these drop. So from the places in Corbin to Barberville, you still need to be in your safe space. There's lots of rain, lots of lightning, lots of thunder still rolling your way. Barberville, that storm, that cell that was just tornado warned, is still heading your direction. So while we don't need to cover the tornado warning any longer, we might see another one come up here. If rotation can redevelop, you need to be down and you need to stay in your safe spot. Pineville, you're also in on that. Anywhere in between here, in the northern parts of Knox County, you need to be in it as well. As we continue to watch the rest of these storms tonight, I'll continue to monitor the situation for us. If we get any more tornado warnings to pop up, we'll be back in and we will stay on until they go. This Leslie County tornado warned storm is just exiting the area now, so we're going to let that one go. If anything develops out of that, we'll be right back in. We'll check back in with you every 15 minutes or so as these storms continue to work through southern Kentucky, and we'll take some time here to let this sit. If you need anything, you can always check our Fox 56 Weather Authority app. We'll have live radar and tracking on there. I will be back in just a few minutes to give you an update on these storms. Meteorologist Justin Esterly, Fox 56, sending it back.
From Fox 56 News, the Weather Authority, this is a severe weather alert.
All right, we're back in because we've got a new tornado warning already for you here in southern portions of Kentucky. This tornado warning just popped up here from the National Weather Service, and on our maps, we've got what looks like rotation showing in. You can see that indicated by this little rotating cylinder on the map. Let's get down in here and see what we've got going on specifically with this storm. Take a close and zoom in here so you can see and get an idea of what we've got going on. This is just to the north and east of Barbourville, but not by much. It's close, and it will continue to work to the east at roughly 35 miles an hour. So this tornado warning now goes until 8:15 p.m. Includes Knox County and portions of Bell County, as well as some other small portions here of Leslie County. Another tornado warning ongoing in Leslie County, too, that we will take a look at here in just a moment. But so you get the idea, we've got this tornado warned storm in the mix. Let's get over to our velocity reading and see. Okay, this is a very good couplet that we've got on here right now. I see two of them that we need to have concern with because the rotation has tightened quite a bit. Let me get off here just to turn that little cylinder off so you can see what's going on here inside of that. Move this off, put that off. Here we go. So right there, just to the east of Barbourville, we've got really good rotation. This is indicating that there is the potential of a tornado. No confirmation that it's on the ground at this point, but there is some very strong rotation in this here as we roll through. This is likely our highest point of interest. There's more here behind Barbourville, so folks in Barbourville, you guys got to stay down. Been saying your name a lot here tonight because we've had multiple rounds of thunderstorms. There's broader rotation back behind you off to the west, but it is moving this general direction. The tighter rotation right in here. I'm going to try to get down closer so we can see. It is past downtown Barbourville at this point, but Hinkle, Bowman, Dewitt, Walker, Scaff, smaller spots there popping up on our map, Hammond. All of you guys need to be in there, in your safe place. Again, lowest room, most interior spot of your home, in the basement. As many walls between you and the outside as possible, and making sure that we're staying down with alerts ready. Because right now that rotation is moving and knocking on the door of Dewitt, Walker, and Scaff. And it is going to continue to rotate into there with some of that strong rotation. It is showing a good signature there. So this is going to be the potential for the tornadic activity. Moving to the east at all of 35 miles an hour. The strongest part here, if we get really close to it, we're talking Mudlick Road here over towards places like Walker is getting in on this too now. And again, Meadow Branch Road, if you're in any of these locations between them, that is where the rotation is. We've got Hahn Gap Road a little further to the north, Hales Creek Road. If you live near or are familiar with any of those roads down here, you need to be in your safe space right now because this tornado warned storm is showing good, solid rotation and the potential of some tornadic activity in the neighborhood right now. We go back and we need to look at this one that's near Barbourville too. That one not tornado warned, but there is some rotation with it that is of concern, and it is moving along the same line as where this cell had just come from. So we've got new development in that department too that we'll need to keep an eye on. Further to the east here, we've got another tornado warm storm. This one's in Leslie County. This one goes till 8:15. This one not showing as good of rotation. It goes into Harlan County as well until 8:15. That storm a little weaker in terms of its rotation, still producing the heavy rainfall, the gusty winds. Even if there's not a tornado in this instance, gusty damaging winds are going to be possible for us here. It's strong. The storm is holding good, and that means that the potential for some damaging winds is still in play. This one in Leslie County here, not showing any signs of rotation at all. Peyton Hinkle's with me now. He's going to be coming in and helping track some of this stuff. He's getting set up, so we will have more of this coverage. We're going to be staying wall to wall because I've got two locations here with good rotation, confident rotation, that we don't want to step away from. We took a short break. Now we're back because this rotation and this tornado warning has been issued for us, and we're going to continue to need to monitor that situation. One more quick peek here back over towards places in Pulaski County and other spots near McCreary County. That's still just a severe thunderstorm warning. That is going to expire in 5 minutes. They haven't extended that one yet, and so we will just focus our attention on these. Peyton Hinkle is here now with me with an update. Peyton, what are you seeing?
Yeah, well, obviously we were tracking severe storms across several of these areas this morning, and here we go again. So it's a little bit of deja vu this evening for us. Let's go ahead and talk about these warnings we have in place. As Justin was just talking about, we have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, 2 tornado warnings right now. The most impressive one is down in Knox County, just to the north and east of Barberville. And then we have that one in Leslie County as well. I'll get to that one in just a second. Now, you want to be in your safe spot, as Justin was just talking about. Regardless of if you see a tornado or not, these storms are capable of damaging winds, the threat for some hail, and very heavy rainfall. And with the saturated ground, some flooding concerns are definitely a possibility as well. Let's go ahead and take a closer inspection here on this first tornado warning in portions of Knox County. The couplet's not as tight on the latest scan as it was just a few moments ago, but it's still significant. You can see where these reds and greens are coming together, indicating the wind's going away and towards the radar. So that's how we show some of that rotation there. But if you're in DeWitt, Walker, Scalf, those areas, you all want to be in your safe spot. Arose, Field, down towards Rella as well. Go ahead and get in your safe spot. These storms are moving at a decent pace. Justin, do we know about how fast they're moving right now?
Yeah, the latest trend that we had was somewhere between 35 and 45 miles an hour to the east.
So still moving at a pretty good clip. So you'll want to go ahead and get in your safe spot in those areas. Let's go ahead and take a look at that warning in portions of Leslie County. And right now, not really seeing much rotation with this. The threat for damaging winds is still there. That's why they also have that severe thunderstorm warning in place, along with some hail as well too. But the good news with this one is it's not looking as significant as it once was, but still have multiple of those severe thunderstorm warnings, and of course the tornado warning right now. You can see the rotation signature showing up on radar, so the radar's indicating significant rotation there as well. The latest scan shows this rotation right over Scalf and Walker right now. So again, if you're in the Rose community and Field, even out towards Beverly, you want to go ahead and start making those preparations, getting in your safe spot over the next few minutes as this continues to work off to the east. With the setup we've seen throughout the day today, both this morning and this evening, even if the rotation isn't as significant at times, it can tighten up very quickly. And Justin, as you know, we've already seen a couple tornadoes confirmed today from those storms earlier this morning. So keep your guard up, even if you're under some of these severe thunderstorm warnings, because they all have that tag of tornado possible. So even if you're not under a tornado warning, maybe just under one of the severe thunderstorm warnings, that is still definitely a possibility, as some of these couplets can tighten up fairly quickly. Justin, what are you seeing? Any updates from the Weather Service so far?
I'm getting reports just north of Barberville of some very large hail coming down, at least the sound of it. Nobody is obviously out taking pictures at this time. It's too dangerous. You should not be doing that. But of course, getting some reports in that there has been some large hail in there. And that is an indicator that there is some strong updrafts with these storms. Of course, we would need that to be able to get some of these rotation readings to show up on radar in the first place. But right now, all of the reports I'm getting in so far are just hail, and we don't have any confirmation of tornadic activity. But I do want to show you this product that we've got up on the screen. This is called the debris detector. And when we start to get things, and I talked about this a little bit ago, but we're going to speak on it again, we've got colors here in the reds. Once we start to move into the yellows and the greens, well, that could be hail in there. But when we have rotation signatures like what we've got, then we start to see a drop in the debris detector. That's the radar beam hitting something other than rain and or hail as it comes through. So that could be an indication that there is possibly damage in the area. I'm not saying that that is the case here. There's nothing significant with this, but we do have some areas right there in places just to the northeast of Barberville, northern Knox County, that are showing some signs of at least that stronger hail, or those bigger hailstones, if it's not tornadic activity kicking up any kind of other debris. And it does line up. Okay, you saw that here with the rotation was right in this vicinity as well. So when we go back to it and we take a peek, there's the rotation. And again, this is a pretty good couplet, you guys. So that means that the possibility of tornadic activity here is high at this point. I would be confident in saying that there is a good chance that something's trying to get down, or at least spinning up. We don't have confirmation of that. It might take some time before we get there. But when we've got this red and this green this close together, that's when we know that there is some serious rotation taking place, and that's why this tornado warned storm is still in effect for us. So we get down here, just again, it's now just moving that likelihood of the strongest rotation. I'll draw it in for you here too so you can see. It's likely here that we have the most of that rotation. In fact, it just shifted again for us further to the east. So now, let's get this coloring pen back here. Now our rotation is more likely in this area. So it's just moving past Scaff and Walker. That's not an all clear by any means. You got to stay down and stay safe as this comes in. But places like Roaring Fork Road, if you're familiar with that, Trace Branch Road up to Eros, we've got Highway 66 working up into Field. All of those locations is where we're going to have this rotation move into next. That means get down, stay down, and be prepared for more of this opportunity of some tornadic activity. Back towards Barberville, I just want to touch on it quick. The rotation there has loosened up a lot, which is a good sign that there's not as strong rotation. This is drastically different compared to what's going on near Barberville, but you're still in a severe thunderstorm warning, heavy rain, hail confirmed. The hail is, and it's lightning and thunder coming your way for us here, bringing some of that torrential rain. Again, we were talking about it, and you heard Peyton mention it. I've mentioned it. We've already got a lot of rain down, and there's more rain coming. So the potential of some flash flooding is going to be a concern, too. I'm going to send it over to Peyton. He's got another update. I'm going to take a look at some of those flooding options for us and be back with that in just a minute. Peyton, what do you got for us?
Yeah, well, some good news is that severe thunderstorm warning we had for portions of Wayne into McCreary and Whitley counties, I believe, that has been allowed to expire at this point. Still a nasty thunderstorm for Whitley City working in the direction of Williamsburg, but it is no longer warned at this time. Obviously, the most significant warning we still have is this tornado warning for portions of Knox County this evening. I did want to turn on the lightning fairly quickly. Notice all the lightning with this. There's a good amount of it. And while lightning doesn't necessarily make a storm severe, it can be one of the things we look at to see how intense a storm is. And so when some of these cells have a lot of lightning, that can help us see how intense and how strong they are. So a lot of lightning with this, and we know there are some intense storms in place. We've already talked about some of that hail falling. I'm getting more reports of hail. I was just checking on that a few moments ago. Here's that area of rotation still in portions of Knox County. It's now off to the east of Barberville. There was that little bit of rotation in this severe thunderstorm warning right near downtown Barberville, but that has loosened, as Justin just talked about, and it's not as impressive as it once looked. But we still have this significant rotation about to cross the county line there. So if you're in Arose, Field, back towards Beverly, even if you're down in Rella, you go ahead and get in your safe spot. Even places like Spruce Pine, Sailor, Tackytown, Stony Fork, even though this is still several miles away from you, you'll still want to go ahead and get in your safe spot as well. You can see that tornado warning box goes all the way out to the Sailor community as well. So this is where that rotation is right now. You can still see a pretty decent couplet there. Again, it's been kind of going back and forth with how tight the couplet is. So we'll continue to watch that, but that's been the trend we've seen throughout the day, even with some of the tornadoes we saw earlier today. So if it tightens back up, you could still have a tornado with this right now, but if it tightens back up, you could see one drop down and go right back up fairly quickly. So that's why you want to take this seriously. Regardless, even if you don't see a tornado, you still have the threat for hail, damaging winds, and very heavy rainfall. So still some serious threats. Keep in mind, straight line winds can do just as much damage sometimes as tornadoes. So you want to take the straight line wind threat seriously as well. Still have that tornado warning for portions of Leslie County. Again, that one has pretty much weakened considerably, so I think they're going to allow that warning to expire. They're continuing that severe thunderstorm warning, but just into southern Perry County, over into portions of Letcher County, another severe thunderstorm warning there, working in the direction of Whitesburg. So that's a pretty nasty storm we have there as well. So still just nasty weather out there this evening, Justin, regardless if you're under one of these warnings or not. Now, a lot of us across central Kentucky, it is just pretty much calm for you. But if you're across our southernmost communities, you're seeing and hearing the thunder and lightning, and it's nasty out there, Justin.
Yeah, it certainly is. And just in the last hour alone, take a look at this map here. We've had heavy rainfall. So we have all of these severe thunderstorm warnings. We've got hail confirmed. It was relatively smaller here. I saw a picture come up. It did look like it was somewhere in the penny-sized to pea-sized hail, but still coming down at a fast clip. Overall, the tornado warning the most severe at this time, but But look at some of these rainfall totals just in the past hour where thunderstorms have been training. This is radar indicated rainfall rates for rainfall totals in the past hour or so. Almost an inch already in just north of the Corbin area. Some other spots here where these storms are training across. Over 1.5 inches in spots that already saw 1 inch today. So the flooding concern is going to continue to be a problem too. I just wanted to show you that to get you a glimpse of what we've already seen in terms of rainfall for us through tonight. Let's go back to radar. Let's get back on that severe thunderstorm warning and that tornado warning here as we go through it. We'll turn it back on. We'll get Jackson's storm relative velocity radar in there and see what's going on. So this couplet has been holding on here for us over the last multiple scans. So confidence that this is a good good tornado warned storm is high because we've got all of that rotation holding in. It is right now crossing from Knox County into Bell County. And as it does that, it is showing that that rotation is strong. It is working towards the southern portion of the box now. So if we zoom out a little bit to get an idea of where it's headed, Wallens Creek, Loyal, Harlan, you may not be in the box yet. They might issue a further one out to catch you here in a minute, but this is heading your direction. And again, it's moving at 35 miles an hour. So let's go ahead and try to put a tracker on this. The rotation, it does look like it's becoming a bit wide at this time, which it would be a good thing for us. The wider the better. That means less chance of any kind of tight rotation and any kind of coupling taking place. But it's 8:07 right now. 8:27, it'll be in Wallens, Loyal by 8:32, Harlan by 8:35. So we're talking about in the next 20 minutes, you've got some time to get down. You're not in a warning right now. I would highly recommend that you just go to your safe place and be ahead of this as it comes through. Because if it crosses into Bell County and decides it wants to tighten up again, who's to say that it's not going to try to drop a quick spin up once more and try to touch down? If we go over to something like our shear indicator, I'm going to throw that up for you so you can see here what that looks like. It shows areas of rotation as we've gone through. So check this out. This is the rotation detector, and it's basically like a history of the rotation as the development of this storm, as the progression of this storm has come through. And you see that while we are starting to get further into the box, this is where the tornado warned storm was before. Back towards Barberville, there was another one, and we have a history of some areas with tight rotation. This is like a pulsing thing that's taking place where the storm is sort of recycling. It's grabbing an updraft, it's spinning it up, it's trying to drop it down, and then it dissipates a little bit. And it repeats that process as it continues to move into air that is unstable, that has energy, and that has a lot of that shear. And the shear is that turning of the winds to cause this rotation to take place in the first place. That other warning spot that we had a tornado warning, which is now expired, good news there, there was some instances of some tight rotation showing up in our rotation detector, meaning that that tornadic activity, that pulsing, that quick up and down, could still have taken place. So we continue to watch these as they move. They are inching towards the edge of our viewing area line now. We want to just hold them until those storms get out before we give it away. But for now, we do have those storms to keep watching as the night rolls on. Let me get back over to radar, get you the broad view, turn this up so you can see a reduced trend in lightning, typically a sign of weakening, which would be good. These, I would say, though, have held their lightning strikes pretty solid, and they're not necessarily showing that sign of weakening. Plenty of lightning strikes within that hail core. That is probably right here, just moving into Bell County now, where the rotation was as well. And then just to the east of Barberville, we've got more of that similar look on radar. So that is what we need to watch. Again, this tornado warning goes till 8:15. So we've got about 6 more minutes before a decision to either expand that or put that out for us for now and just add a thunderstorm warning is what we're watching for here. That other storm that went through Pulaski County, it is starting to bow out a little bit, but it's moving into Tennessee. And so that's good news for us. We go back to where areas that had those storms. Corbin, still raining heavy, still lightning, still thunder. London, same thing. Not really getting out of our safe spot yet. Give it another 10, 15, 20 minutes before we worry about there. Somerset, Russell Springs, Monticello, Liberty, places like that, you're probably good to go ahead and move on out of your safe space if you haven't already. Everybody else here that's moving around in the Lexington area, you've just had some rain showers moving through. The activity is getting more sporadic and things are starting to quiet down. So Peyton, we're just watching those last couple of storms here until they can get out. Anything to add here before we have the decision made for that National Weather Service to issue that warning?
Yeah, I mean, obviously still some strong storms out there. The biggest thing we're watching is that tornado warning, as you've been talking about. We'll go ahead and just take a closer look at that one more time. You were just showing some of that lightning. Still a lot of lightning within that tornado warned storm, so it still looks fairly impressive, which again, lightning is not an indication of how severe a storm is, but it can show us some of that intensity. It doesn't necessarily make the storm severe, but we can see on radar and things from that. That is a tool we can use to see how strong some of the storms are. Still that rotation just right around or south of the Fields community. It's almost out of our viewing area, which is some good news. About to cross over into Bell County and over into portions of Harlan County as well. So you still want to be in your safe spot if you're in Stony Fork, Sailor, Spruce Pine, Tackytown, Molis, back toward Cold Iron. Those areas I would go ahead and still be in your, or get into your safe spot. Even if you're in places like Rella, even though you're just to the south, it's still pretty close to you as well. So I would go ahead and just take those and make those precautions depending on where you are. So we'll continue to monitor this, but as Justin was saying, the couplet's not as tight as it once was. They did go ahead and put another severe thunderstorm warning out ahead of this whole line of storms here. So places like Pineville, back into Harlan County, and just to the south and west there of Cumberland. So a large portion of Harlan into Bell County. So it doesn't look like maybe, at least for now, they're going to extend that tornado warning, but they do have that severe thunderstorm warning now for all of those areas. It likely has that tornado possible tag still on it. So Justin, these are almost out of our viewing area, which is some good news. Any update from the Weather Service on that latest severe thunderstorm warning?
Yeah, it looks like they're going to let that tornado warning expire. It looks like that they're going to cover it with that severe thunderstorm warning, with that tornado possible tag that you were talking about. 1-inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds are, again, the main threats. Everything is moving at roughly 30 miles an hour to the east. And that's a good sign. Slowing down, not good for our heavy rainfall threat, but it is potentially a good sign that these storms could be weakening a little bit, and that would be helpful for us in getting rid of this tornado threat that we've had here for tonight. We do see that we do have a flash flood warning now popping up for portions of Perry County into Leslie County. That goes until 11:15 p.m. tonight. Likely some very heavy rainfall in that vicinity, causing that flash flood warning to go into effect. And we've had reports of hail of 0.7 of an inch. So that's just shy of 1/4 of an inch, likely looking more like dime-sized hail than it is the quarter hail. So ultimately, with the observations that we've been seeing, with the storm that is the tornado warning that is set to expire now in 2 minutes, and with the thunderstorms starting to work out of the Fox 56 viewing area, while we'll hold it until that tornado warning drops, I do think that the severe threat is now moving out. It is slowing down a little bit for us here. And ultimately, I looked at some of the wind gusts that were happening across southern and eastern portions. And while it may not have hit an area where we can measure the wind, we haven't had any observed wind gusts over 15 to 20 miles an hour. So that's also a very good sign for us, a little bit of relief that even though we've had this potential for some tornadic activity, that we haven't had anything observed at this time, and that's a good sign. So we're going to let these go ahead and expire. Again, all of these storms are now moving into far southeastern Kentucky. Everything else will likely be done for us here tonight. I would expect that the rest of the activity that is severe stays out. We don't have anything really coming in behind this. In fact, what's next, Peyton, is that we've got that cold front that we're going to see. That's going to take our temps from where they are now in 50s and 60s and drop us all the way down towards freezing by tomorrow morning. So everything that's wet and flooded is now going to have to deal with the chance for some very cold temperatures to start tomorrow. Highs tomorrow only go into the mid-40s. So that's what we've had for you tonight. That warning should drop here any second as that 8:15 mark comes about. As that happens, we will go ahead and send you back. We will continue to monitor, but I do think that the threat is moving out of our area. You can come up and out of your safe space now. If you are in the Corbin area, give it another 10 to 15 minutes here. We've still got that rain coming through, lightning and thunder with that. So we've got a little time before that goes. Peyton, you had one other thing to add here before we take off?
Yeah, just want to say real quick, still since we're dealing with some of this very heavy rainfall, we now have that flash flood warning you mentioned for portions of Leslie and Perry County. Weather Service is saying some of these areas within the flash flood warning have already picked up 1.5 inches of rain within the past hour. So that's very significant, and still with some rain behind it. Just watch for those small creeks and streams and some of those back roads and areas, some of the same issues we had this morning, some of those areas that flood easy. Just be aware of that if you have to head out on the roads at night. A lot of times that can be hard to see as well. Just wanted to add that note in there because we've been talking about the tornado and wind threat, which they just let that tornado warning expire, but also keep in mind the threat of some flooding out there this evening as well. Justin.
Yeah, and that's a good note, Peyton. That's all we've got for severe weather coverage. I think we can go ahead and wrap this up. We may see some more activity, but it is now out of the Fox 56 viewing area, so we are good. We are covered. Everybody else, wait till the rain lets up, wait till the lightning lets up, and then everything is good. Thanks for watching us here this evening. Thank you for letting us come in and give you these warnings. Justin Esterly, meteorologist here, Fox 56, alongside Peyton Hinkle. We'll go ahead and let you have a great rest of your night.
We now return to our regularly scheduled program.